Good Friday afternoon, everybody. I'm meteorologist Tim Pandages here with your Atlantic Tropical Update. We're talking about Invest 94L. It is June 24th, 2022. Been a minute since we've done one of these. It's been quiet out there in the Atlantic. So here's the latest. Development odds are increasing for our newest tropical wave that has been tagged Invest 94L. Now, it's unusually early to see development in the area in which Invest 94L is currently located. I'm going to show you that in just a second. We are still days away from any potential impacts to land, so that's good news. There's a lot of time to watch this and see how it evolves. So here it is. Here's Invest 94L sitting way out in the eastern Atlantic. Right now, development odds within 2 days, 20%, but within 5, we're up to 60%. In fact, likely higher than that as we get more and more updates over the next few days because of how conducive the overall background environment currently is for this. It's moving to the west at 22 miles an hour. Currently has winds, satellite estimated at around 25 miles per hour. All right, first, what is an Invest? Invest 94L is what this system has been tagged as. Let's break it down. Invest just stands for an area of investigation. It allows the Weather Service and Hurricane Center to now put modeling onto this system to see where it may go in the future. 94 is just a number that we cycle from 90 to 99 just to keep track of the overall systems. And the letter L indicates it's in the which basin it's in. So L corresponds with Atlantic, E is Eastern Pacific, C would be Central Pacific. So in regards to these videos, we're mostly just going to be talking about Atlantic Basin storms. So where does it stand on our tropical vocabulary pyramid? Well, investigative areas are right up there just past tropical disturbances. Next up would either be a potential tropical cyclone, which is rather new, started being used in 2017, or we jump right up to a tropical depression. Doesn't get a name until it becomes a tropical storm, and then of course a hurricane or major hurricane at the top of that pyramid. So factors to consider when looking at Invest 94L. Well, the area that it's in is usually hostile this time of the year, but it's actually very conducive this time around. Record warm sea surface temperatures. I'm going to show you those in a second. It's like bath water out there in the Atlantic. Plus low wind shear. Also unusual that it's so low this time of the year. Those are two huge factors into the potential evolution of this system going forward. Now, in the area that it's currently in, called the MDR, the main development region, less than 1% of storms that develop in June are from that area. So it's very, very rare that we see development in the main development region outlined here in red in June. 1% of systems develop and move out of there and become something to watch. It's usually favored for tropical development July, likely late July through September, through the heart of the season. That's when we see a lot of Cabo Verde storms, Cape Verde Island storms develop and are long track, and we can see them for weeks. Not usually the case in June. Very unusual. All right, here's how it looks on visible satellite now. We're using GOES 16 satellite imagery here, showing the update. You can see a general broad circulation. No closed circulation yet. It's just an open wave right now. That's all it is. But it's got a 60% chance within the next 5 days of developing. And when we throw the wind streams on it, you can also tell that there is no closed circulation. We're not seeing any generalized combination or convergence of those winds into a center. So it's just an open wave now moving off to the west rather quickly in very warm sea surface temperatures and also low wind shear. There is spin associated with this, but it is not kind of congealing itself together, right? It's not getting down and becoming more circular and moving forward from there. So it is present, but it's very elongated at the moment. It'll likely get a little bit more organized in the next couple of days. Now to water vapor imagery, right? This is where we look at moist air, dry air. Dry air in the copper color here off to the north and west. Now, it is June. Typically, according to climatology, we see a lot of dry air via Saharan dust. So you may be asking yourself, well, where is all the dust? Not there. It is not present at all. We've got a little plume here well out to the west of the system, but most of it's over the African continent and just exiting well to the north. That's another aspect of 94L. Is it's what we call a low rider. It is very far to the south and will actually scoot the northern coast of South America. So it's avoiding not only the wind shear to the north, but also the dry, dusty air that would be detrimental to it developing. Here's a look at the wind shear environment going forward over the next few days. This is the forecast track or area of development over the next 5 days. Notice wind shear, which is going to be all the greens and blues and wind streams you're seeing here. That's areas of high wind shear. Going forward, none of it really gets into that development area, so it's not many hurdles for this to clear as it heads west. On top of that, as I mentioned, is the sea surface temperatures. Very, very warm, well above where they should be. You need 80-degree water temperature or warmer for tropical development. We've certainly got that. Look at the air temperatures here in the mid-80s, out ahead of where 94L will likely be heading in the next couple of days. Not only is it the skin of the ocean that's very, very warm and above average and certainly suitable for tropical development, but it stretches down to a depth. It's very, very deep. And why that's important with tropical systems is that when they're moving across the Atlantic and they're developing and organizing, they create waves, right? That's a big symptom of tropical systems, high waves. And that mixes up the ocean, something called upwelling. When you've got just the surface of the water that's very, very warm, and it mixes up cooler water, so it's self-limiting, and it cuts off its own fuel source. When you've got deep, warm water, the upwelling is just continuously replacing surface waters with warm waters from a depth. So we've got that as well. And compared to average, these are the anomalies, sea surface temperature anomalies. Here's the chart. A lot of this is getting close to the high end of that chart, being above average of about 5 degrees or so in that area. More notably, the Gulf of Mexico, closer to the United States, is cooking, especially the northern Gulf, off the charts, anomalously warm. Sea surface temperatures there in the northern Gulf in the low 90s. That's how warm it is. Now, something that's been kind of scooting under the radar is the potential of a brief tropical system developing in the Gulf of Mexico via a cold front dropping towards the coast through Texas, which in and of itself is rare this time of the year. I like to compare this to the Gulf of Mexico being a powder keg and this cold front being a spark or a match. And we're bringing that match closer and closer to the fuel. And as it dips into the northern Gulf, it tails along and we see some spin develop as a result. And that could potentially become a very short-lived tropical system building inland to coastal Texas by the middle of next week. So that's something to note there to keep a watchful eye on too. Let's jump back to 94L and look at what the models are doing with it. Generally just a westward consensus. We've got a very strong ridge of high pressure sitting over the central Atlantic, so that's driving this storm to the west, eventually into the Caribbean, but this is about 7-8 days out before it's impacting anybody in the Caribbean. And a lot of the models do take it even farther to the south. In fact, let's do a comparison now with the GFS and the European. So the red lines is going to be the European model. The yellow lines is going to be the GFS. Here we are by Sunday. So this is when it's starting to get its act together, maybe starting to show some signs of organization. Close lows, both models have it there now pretty much in the same general area. Go out another couple days. Here we are Tuesday night and a Wednesday getting towards the southern Leeward Islands. A little bit stronger, still likely messy and broad at this point, but it's scooting the northern coast of South America. You see how far south this is. But developing in the southern Caribbean, and then as it heads towards Nicaragua by this time next week, we're looking at a full-fledged potential hurricane here in the southern Caribbean heading towards Nicaragua. Now, this is just one run. This will change. There's a lot of time to watch this between now and then, but certainly with the sea surface temperatures and the deep ocean heat content, above average ocean temperatures, low wind shear, certainly the environment is conducive for that. So what are the next names on our list? We already used Alex. We've got Bonnie up next, and then potentially Colin too. So we'll have to watch that area in the Gulf for potential development and also invest 94L. Both would be well ahead of climatological norms. Typically, we see our second named system in the Atlantic around July 17th and the 3rd, not until August. So both would be coming in well ahead of time. All right, until next time, find me on social media. I actually just joined TikTok as well, so find me on there if you're on there. Instead of that, we got Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. More updates coming your way this weekend if anything changes. Till then, have a safe, cool weekend with the high heat still in place here across Texas.